Okay. Now, it should be working fine. It should be working well. If it is, do let me know. If you're on the session, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know that you're here. Okay, I think this seems to be working. Okay. All right, so we do have, it is 9:35 right now. I had a bit of a difficult setup, setting stuff up. So it is 9:35 right now. In about 10 minutes, we do have the Bank of Canada with their interest rates decision, right? And if you can see my screen here, Bank of Canada interest rate decision at 9:45 p.m. GMT plus 8. We are looking at a likelihood or the likelihood for a rate stay, right? I don't know whether that's the right term, but the rate staying at the current level of 2.75. So Elite Navigators, we've done the live stream earlier this afternoon where we talked about this already. So just a quick recap. This is the US CAD, right? The US CAD forming up quite nicely at this point. In about 9 minutes. So what we had, oh, hey, good evening, Jimmy. How you doing? Hope you're well. Hey, Lindley, long time no see. Good to have you with us again. Welcome back to the channel. Good to see you. I didn't even get the chance to fill my water, so I might have to pop out shortly to fill some water. And we got John Chong, who has just joined us, an Elite Navigator. So welcome, John Chong. And Robbie, how are you doing? Hello. Okay, good to have all of you here with me. So yes, again, if you're on the session, drop a message, say hi, let me know that you're on. This is a publicly available live session, so you can help me out massively by remembering to click on that thumbs up button. Keep the chat flowing. You can, keep sending out messages and stuff like that. Because I think the more messages, the more interaction we have, we might get more people onto the stream. All right, but clicking on that thumbs up button definitely does help as well. So remember to do that for me, you guys. I like to do this just for fun. So if you want to, okay. Alrighty. So yeah, so like I was saying, in 7:20, this is a countdown that's making me rush a little bit. Rates are looking to stay at 2.75 in April, where it stayed at 2.75. We saw the US CAD, this was in April, right? It was trending down before the news. A day before or during the day, it was coming down as well. On release of the news, we saw it pop down ever so slight, well, relatively, I wouldn't say it's a lot. I say it popped down in this case was about that 40 something pip, but then it continued down about 60, and overall over the last, towards the next week, it went down about 135 pips to the downside. So it did push down and then it continued lower. This was from the last time that the Bank of Canada kept rates on hold at 2.75 on April 16th. So same thing here, back to the current. Hey, massive thank you again, Jimmy. Jimmy, really appreciate that. Thanks for that, Jimmy. Yeah, so hey, if you guys are enjoying the session, send that sticker, click away. I would really appreciate that as well. I'm also trading, so sometimes I will block off, but I'm streaming, I'm talking, I'm chatting with you guys. So, keep it coming, keep it coming. Thanks again, Jimmy. So on the US CAD, what we're seeing here, very similar to what we saw here in the lead up to the 16th of April, was what we're seeing here is a push to the downside, right? A push to the downside. Now in that couple of minutes time, ideally what I'm looking for is for the US CAD to push down, all right, to push down, breaking this previous low, this previous swing low, um, and like I had my squiggly lines just then, might push down, bounce back up a little bit, and then ideally push back down that way. Okay, so that's the main thing I'm looking for here on the US CAD. Got my Bollinger Bands in there. Let's make them less thick so it doesn't look as jarring. Maybe even less than that. You see you probably can hear it. My voice is going a little bit already. Hey, and we do have the ECB tomorrow. We do have the non-farm payrolls on Friday as well. So I'm going to do a whole series before I jet off again. So I'm in the series of in the mood of jetting off. So we're going to do a whole big series of videos before I disappear for a couple of weeks. On this time on a holiday, not work at all, totally shut down, reset, refresh on a bit of a holiday. So that's what we're looking for. 4 minutes to the news release of the Bank of Canada rates decision. Most likely looking for the rate to hold at 2.75. Do we think that could be a surprise? I don't expect that. I don't think that the data recently has give rise or have supported the idea of a possible surprise. So I'm expecting that 2.75 to kind of remain, kind of be there. All right. So again, dollar index is kind of doing what we expected, bouncing around this area. Might bounce up a little bit before pushing back down, but the focus is still, well, currently on the Canadian dollar, the loonie. All right. Let me do this a little bit. Okay, that might help the video a little, camera a little bit. Okay. So 3 minutes to that. Again, if you're on the session, I see a lot of you on the session. Do remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Click that thumbs up button. Drop a message and say hi. Let me know that you're on. Let me know if you're trading this news as well. Would love to find out. Disclaimer obviously applies, so remember that. And if you haven't already, you can see a little join button. You can join us as an elite navigator, where on a day-to-day basis I do a daily market analysis for our members, right? Just to give you that guidance. Okay, so what if, the big question here might also be, what if in the next 2 minutes it does not pop down? It does not pop down, and if it sits around, right? If it just bounces and sits around here, then it's not going to be too exciting, right? We're not going to do too much. If it surprises and it pops right up, then we're going to be looking for a reaction along this point for that big push back down. So anywhere in the middle, I wouldn't do too much, but I'm looking for a move here, a reaction here, or I would more prefer a break to the downside here. So like that. Okay, so that would be, if it does break down, you would have a good 30 to 60 pip, 30 pip stop loss, 60 pip take profit to the downside. If it bounces right up, if it shoots right back up to this resistance and the trend line, then you'll be looking at a rejection 1.3760. You get a tight stop loss of about 20 pips. You would have a good take profit down at about 65 to the downside. So either way, we know what we're looking for. We're looking for the continuation back down, whether it's a retrace and a continuation, or a breakthrough and then a continuation. Okay, so typically, in the past, I would say, here's how to scalp and all that, but I'm trying to show you guys what you can do. You don't always have to scalp. Hey, the news just came out. We are seeing the CAD push down, so no surprise there at 2.75. Oops. What we're seeing here is the CAD did have a bit of a pop down, but it's finding this level. All right, this whole thing here, that is finding a bit of support there. So at this point here, what I'm going to do is jump into the 15-minute time frame just to show you the move. I'll take out some of these lines, just a bit too messy. All right, so I sat there in a bit of consolidation. It popped lower, not ready to get into it yet. 5-minute and a 1-minute time frame. So yeah, I talked about possibly not scalping. I do enjoy my scalping trades. So that's what we're looking at. Pop down out of the Bollinger, coming right back up again. Not ready to get into that trade. You also do see that, or you should see that the TSRI MACD is indicating the likelihood for that downside crossover to the downside. Akash Gandhi, the announcement is out already. Rate announcement has just been released a minute ago. Was 2.75, expected 2.75, got released at a 2.75. So a whole big no change on rates decision, right? No change on rates as expected, but like we were saying earlier on the 16th of April, there was no change, and we saw the US CAD push to the downside. This time, no change. We saw an initial push to the downside, but it hasn't crossed down. This is a big, strong level tested. Move that away. Tested on the 26th of May, tested on the 2nd of June, testing again now on the 4th of June, and it doesn't seem like it wants to break. Why unfortunate, Akash? It is unfortunate that we're not seeing a big move, but I think it will take time, right? A no change is always going to take a little bit more time than a rate change scenario, especially with a big strong support level here that it needs to break. And you'll see that the last time it was below this level was a long time ago, right? We were right here now. So the last time we broke through from this level was somewhere in October last year. October last year, we broke through up from this level. And the last time we broke down from this level was back in August last year. Rejected this level in September. So August, September last year was when it broke down and got held by this level. October last year was where it broke through that level, and now we're back at this point. Okay, so it's a level that does need some good strength and momentum to break lower. Akash, lower rates help me sell more houses. Hey, if you're looking at dealing in property, let's talk. Are you selling in Canada, Akash? Which area in Canada? Let me know which area in Canada. Okay, so markets, the loonie is still sitting right there, not doing too flash at the moment, right? Remember I was telling you this just then, where it was trying to cross over, it didn't cross over yet. Before that, it's kind of widened out again. Now it's trying to cross over again. It hasn't crossed over, um, but then it's trying. It's still waiting. You gotta wait for it. Um, GTA. Sorry, what was GTA? Yeah. Those of you who know me well knows that I'm terrible with abbreviations. So let me know what's GTA. Apart from Grand Theft Auto, that one I know. I don't think you're referring to Grand Theft Auto. So let me know what you think. What's GTA? Um, now, see, it's sitting there. It can't break through. It's trying but rejecting. Yeah, call here. Let me just reply to that. Okay. Great. Okay. Well, Grand Theft Auto and Greater Toronto Area. Fair. I would say it's a fair confusion. No, it's not. But just for my sake, I'll say it's a fair confusion. Um, how is the Greater Toronto Area selling? I do my real estate in the UAE or in Singapore, in Australia, in the UAE as well. Now especially in the UAE. So let me know how is it in Canada? Rates. So in terms of in terms of a home buyer, in terms of an investor, rates staying at 2 point. Actually, I feel that 2.75 is a fair rate. It's not the lowest. It could go lower, but I think it's a fair rate to be at. I I would have thought that it wouldn't affect at 2.75. I would have thought that it would be still a reasonable market. This is quickly becoming a property talk. Freehold is decent, but condo market is dead. Help. Why would you buy condo if you can buy freehold? That's my mantra. You buy freehold, you hold on to it, you make the good capital, you make the good rental yield. It makes sense. And then you train FX to generate the short-term cash flow. You have property for the longer term, or the very long-term portfolio building. That's the way I play it. Okay. So this where were we? This was where the news was. Okay, this was the release of the Bank of Canada rates decision, where basically on release of the news, we saw it pop down, came back up, now trying a bit lower. Not going to do anything unless it breaks down from this area through this orange box, which is where we have our plan here on the H1 time frame. This is not ruled out yet, right? This is not ruled out yet because what could happen here is a bit of a horizontal sit across and then a push down or retrace back up and then the push back down. Okay, that's one scenario. The next one is that it comes down into this area. Why is my chart so weird? It comes down into this area. It bounces around a little bit and then it breaks right through again, which is what it's trying to do right now. Just looking at my charts. Yep. Okay, so that's something to possibly get into. Okay, so while we are looking at the CAD, you really want to keep your eye on that. I like it because on the H1 time frame, we're 6 minutes away from the candle close. right? We're 6 minutes away from the candle close. Kevin Gunet, might be messing up the name. Um, Kevin Gunet, the rate decision is 2.75. No change from previous, no change from expected, no change from the 16th of April. So it's held, although it's held, we are expecting that downside move. Some strength in stability on the Canadian dollar. So to push to the downside. So strength on the Canadian dollar, um, possibly some weakness back on the dollar index to push it to the downside. I don't think it is a um, dovish hold, because if it's dovish hold, we would see this have pushed back up. Um, we're seeing it still sitting at that point, still undecided yet. The last time we saw it push down, kind of decides on what's going to happen here as well. Thanks, Akash. Appreciate that. Yes, everyone, if you haven't already, do click that like and subscribe. All right. Is it a dovish hold? Looking at the statement, clear consensus. Just looking at the headliners, clear consensus is to keep rates unchanged. Yes, we know that. Felt that there will be a need for future rate cut if the economy weakens in the face of tariffs, and cost pressures on inflation are contained. Give me a second, I'm just going to close my door. I'm back. Hey Jamilu, how are you doing? Hope you're well. Good to see you again. Welcome back, welcome back. So yes, felt like future rate cut. They're always going to say that some unusual volatility in inflation, but core measures suggest underlying inflation could be stronger than what we thought. That's fine. Reiterates that the governing council is being less forward-looking than usual. So this is going to depend. It's going to be more data dependent rather than trying to predict and project. Okay, the main thing here is, although it's not a surprise, there'll be a need for future rate cut if the economy weakens in the face of tariffs and cost pressures on inflation are contained. Um, like what, challenge accepted said, probably a dovish hold. Won't rule that out yet, but regardless of a dovish hold or not, if it sits across or it starts pushing back up, I'm looking for that reaction or rejection at 1.3770, right? I'm not tempted. In my olden days or in my younger days, more rasher days, I would try and scalp it up. But right now, I'll let it go up. I'll test that, let it test, and look for that downward push, depending on that dollar index as well. I'm losing my mouse. Give me a second. Dovish hold, looking to short the CAD versus the pound. Pound CAD, let me see. Oops, where's my mouse? Pound CAD. Showing a very similar picture to the US CAD, showing a very similar picture to the loonie. Shorting it would be what I would look for as well. Looking at the pound dollar, sitting right in there. Loonie is bouncing back, so it's still very undecided. There's a very strong support there, so that's one big thing that's playing on my mind. Then onto the pound CAD. Definitely looking for a short. There is possibly some short-term upside, right? There's possibly some short-term upside. Most likely, I would suggest that the pound CAD could come up to around this area before pushing back down again. So test between 1.86, around 1.86 area before pushing back down again. On the pound CAD, what I would be looking out for would be something along 1.8575, around there, test and a reject. Stop loss at about a 30 pip. Take profit will be down to that point, 60, or I don't see a 100 pip move to the downside at this point, but in the ultimate scenario, that's what we're looking at. Does that align with your views and thoughts? Challenge accepted. Do let me know. Okay, just sit here. From 1.8450 towards 1.88. 8450. Oh, okay. So basically, what challenge accepted? I'm just using this 1.8450. 8450. Yes. Break that low. Yes, that makes sense. Down to 1.88. That's a big move down. Wait. 1 point. You're looking short the cat versus CAD, short the CAD. 1.88. I'm not too sure. I mean, possible. You're thinking of that coming down, test, and bounce back up towards 1.88. Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. Quite possible, but I would rather look for that I've highlighted there. Sounds like stagflation based on tariff risk. From memory, the GDP still seems reasonable. Employment numbers in Canada has been bad, but hasn't been too bad. So I think the stagflation risk possibly a bit of a stretch. Like could be, but maybe a lot down the line. We'll possibly want to see that in the. We'll possibly see it first in the US before we see it in Canada. Okay, let me just check this. Okay, that's still sitting there. So it's a brand new hour. It's a brand new hour. It's still sitting there, so that's reasonable. Still looking for it to break to the downside. Kevin's asking, do you know what the mortgage rates have been doing lately? I locked in fixed 5-year at 4.09. Gold itself a variable 4.39. Hey Kevin, have you met my new friend Akesh, who is a property guy in Canada? So I'm guessing that Kevin Gurnett is in Canada as well. If you locked in a 5-year lock in, that's you don't normally get a 5-year lock in at 4.09. The 5-year lock in at 4.09 does not seem unreasonable, but I think if the way the economy and the way tariffs and the concerns of tariffs continue to play out, 5 years seems like a long lock-in. Seems like a long lock-in. So I kind of think that I would have done a 2-year. I would have done a 2-year and then 2-3 years and reevaluate it. I feel like 5 years might be a bit of a stretch. But that's my view. I don't know. I honestly don't know the Canadian real estate and mortgage landscape too much. But that's my view. Challenge accepted. Said pound cat. Look at the daily. Okay. Ooh, wait. Okay, look at the daily. Yes. So we had that. Let me just clear that one out. On a swing basis, we had credit risk. Yes, basically people missing payments. That happens back in the 2009, the GFC financial crisis period. GDP is reasonable, but we're still in a contractionary phase. Okay. The economy is not doing well. No, I think, sadly, global economies are not doing well. Global economies are not doing well, with the fact that people are losing jobs or getting hours cut. I would love to go to Canada soon. Heard many good things about it. So seeing this, it doesn't sound very good. Um, Let me think. CAD. When was the last time I just saw a CAD data? CAD. Let me see. Give me a moment. So we had CAD unemployment at 6.9. What's the natural rate? Natural rate of unemployment for the Canadians were, well, the average rate was just about 7.5. So it's crept up from its range of between 7.5 to 6. So it's a little bit high, but not, I wouldn't say, not ridiculous. CPI, yeah, we know CPI was been increasing at a 3.2. Inflation growth at 3.2. You're spending well on your retail sales at a 0.8%, or you had been spending well at 0.8, and GDP is at a 0. Yeah, that's why I thought GDP wasn't too bad. Slowly improving, slowly growing at a 0.1 month to month. Yeah, so good to have perspectives on the ground because sometimes the data doesn't look too bad from my point of view. From my point of view, the data does not look terrible. But that's what we're looking at. It's not doing too well. The fact that, the unemployment rate does climbed a little bit. It does seem to swing a bit on the unemployment. Look at the yields. CAD bonds yields are going down. Yes, I was watching that before. 2 years represented, people are expecting more rate cuts to come, but we see more with the speech. Speech is at 10:30, the press conference. There was that headliner. And so, like Challenge Accepted was saying, right, the 2 year yield has been going down with further rate cuts expected. And Kevin was locking in a 5 year, at 4.09. So I thought that's a bit too long, to lock it in. There's just a lot of vol to be wasted to lock in for 5 years. Unfortunately, I think you might have been locked in already, and probably jigging that might not be the best idea. You work in a fund base in the UK. Well, UK is not in a peach at the moment as well, due to the macro and the risk sentiments. Yep. Of course, you always look at a 10-year yield rather than the shorter term. You look at 10. Generally, you look at a 10 first or you look at the 10 just to get the overall feel of what's happening in the markets. Pound CAD. So we're still looking at pound CAD. I think, yes, I think back to what you're talking about. Could it drop and swing back up? Yeah. I don't think 1.88. I think that's a bit of a stretch. We were, at the highest point back in March at 1.8. So I think 1.88 might be a bit of a stretch. I feel like a bit of a push back down into this area might seem a little bit more reasonable at this point. Then you have that level there. So that's kind of what I'll be looking out for. Okay, back to the H1, you see that. So we're looking for, I would look for that to test and come back in. Back to the loonie, check that one. It is trying, it's testing, it's thinking. Look at the dollar index. This is what we talked about earlier this afternoon, where we saw it rejecting 99.33, needs to break 99. It fluctuated along 99 for a while. It's breaking lower. Was it a US news? Tariff impacts are likely elevating prices. That one we know is there already. And then we're seeing the dollar index push down. Now at 98, the .80, possibly the target level for us is at 98.60. I think that would be a good level to kind of find that breather, to wait a little bit, and then see more activity later into tomorrow. I don't think we're going to see a huge move right through. Hey Ahmed, how are you doing? Ahmed, this on a totally completely different thought is I might, there is a slight chance I might be thinking of jumping over to Saudi in September, possibly in September. So let's see if that happens. I'll let you know. From memory, I think you're in Saudi. So if I'm wrong, if I'm completely wrong, do let me know as well. But yeah, that's some of my part of my plans. September in Saudi. Okay, so the dollar index is pushing a bit lower. The US CAD, I think it's safe to take that out of the consideration, just to clean up the charts. We are seeing on H1 time frame that it's crossing down, and it looks like it's trying to break lower. We've got this about there, so 1.3675, stop loss of 30, take profit of 60 to the downside. That's what we're looking for. I want the when I thought those of you who are not super familiar with me, when I look at things like that, I want it to close there or below that point before I get into a trade. Not on a tail, not when it touches, but when it close at that point or below that point, preferably below that point, to show a good momentum to the downside before I would get into that trade. Okay, so that's the thought on the US CAD. How you are finding it? How you're finding this session so far? It's been a while since I did a public live session, so please put it into the chat. Let me know what you think. You like it? You hate it? What can I do better to make you? If you hate it, what can I do better to make you like it? If you like it, what can I do better to make you love it? And the only two things you can do from here is to like and subscribe, or click on that join button, join us as an elite navigator, where I do my live streams every day with you guys. Okay, so CAD outside of the Bollinger Band, coming back in a little bit. Dollar index is also coming back in a little bit. Bring up one more chart. Just check out some stuff. So this is on my list to watch. This is what we're gonna consider. Kiwi is pushing right up. So like we talked about, zigzagging up to that resistance. We're gonna see what happens at that resistance level. Aussie dollar is breaking higher. That's going to form up quite nicely. A smallish trade to the upside there on the Aussie, 30 pips to the upside. I like that one. Pound dollar is, we talked about this. I've been stalking this trade for, well, since Monday, right? Since Monday, where is it? Since Monday, been stalking it, waiting for it, sitting right across, looking for it to break out to the upside. I want to see what happens at 1.36 to break up. Euro dollar, nothing much yet. Yen is breaking down. I missed this one right now. I might be looking for a retrace to get into this yen. I'm quite keen on this. I had been quite keen. Because of this stream, I'm kind of missing out. So that's why I don't always do the stream. I do my trades where I can look at everything as well. But I will have a look at this one later on. That worked out like a peach, right? So we were here. We were right here when we talked about it, and I missed this trade as well. Saying that it was going to come up and test this level and then break down, and it's done that exactly at 1.3690 to push to the downside. This was all discussed here at 3 p.m. this afternoon. So if you did that on the euro yen, you'd be at like 30 something pips in right now. We're looking at an 85 pip take profit to the downside. Robbie, you and I missed it. I know you missed it too, because if Robbie got into it, he would have posted onto the Discord group. And if he posted onto the Discord group, I would have seen it and go, Robbie's getting into it. That's the trade we talked about. I'll get into it. So I missed it. You missed it. And I wasn't feeling too great this afternoon as well. That's why I plonked my head down and I missed all the moves after that. Missed the mark here. I can't get everything right. Missed the mark here on the pound yen. It is pushing to the downside. Dragged down by the US yen. Dragged down by the euro yen. Pound yen is heading lower. US Swiss franc is dragging down. Needs to break that support. Could be looking at 1.8 point. No, wait. Could be looking at 0.8185. With a 25 pip stop loss, a 65 pip take profit to the downside. US CAD. Watch out for that. That could be my gift to you guys tonight. If it does come there, you could get in with a little bit of a risk. It's pushing. And we talked about this as well, right? Sell 1.3675, 30 to 60. So sell 1.3675. This is where it is right now. 30 pip stop loss, 60 pip take profit. A 1:2 to the downside. It works out very nicely. I kind of want to see it push down. My biggest concern here would be that, I'll zoom in a bit more just to highlight that big concern, is that dot right there. That dot right there is to signal that it's outside of the Bollinger Band. If it comes outside the Bollinger Band, the likelihood could be that it comes right back in. Outside the band, comes right back in. Outside the band, right back in. Outside the band, right back in. So I don't like it. That's the only thing that's preventing me from jumping into the trade right away, is that it's outside the band. Anticipation is that it'll do this. It'll come down, it'll come back in, then it could come back down again. So we're going to see that come out, test, bounce back in, then break to the downside. And hopefully it does that. Doesn't retrace by too much. It's retracing right now. Right, so there we have it. Dollar index is retracing as well because it's way outside of the band. US, well, done US CAD. This I like. US yen I like because it is retracing. And M15, M5. It's going to come back in a little bit. So Robbie, we might have a second bite at this, especially if this flattens out and crosses back down, we might have a second chance at this to push lower. So we're watching the US yen. And then on to gold. All right, gold, we were talking about this above 33.75, could trade up to 34.40. It's coming. It's 33.66 right now. It needs to break 33.75, which is about here, to push to the upside. Okay. Let's look at a bit of the Bitcoin. So I wrote about Bitcoin the other day. Pretty sure I did. Hang on. Yes, I got my Bitcoin post here, technical view, right? Talking about it, possibly, coming down to this level. If it does break this level and could hit further down, just want to have a quick look at this. It is pushing back down. We do have our levels here. So it's at 104. It's been sitting around 104. If it does break down, a big level here will be 102. If it clears 102, we could see a lot of downside. If it clears 102, we could see some relatively big downside on Bitcoin. Right, and that 102 is also about that 23.6 level. Okay, one more thing just to remind you guys is that if you haven't already, do make sure you join onto the mailing list. Right, it's in the description, but click on that, join the mailing list. I'd love to have you guys on the mailing list where I can share more information and thoughts and views with you guys. Okay, so that's Bitcoin, that's holding back up. ETH is got a bit of a support there, not resistance, a bit of a support there. Not too exciting. US 10-year yield, I'm looking at everything, I'm just clicking through everything. US 10-year yield is coming back down a bit, which is not fantastic. All right, 10-year yields are coming back down, which is not the best thing. At that 50% retracement level. That's not great. That's not great. Treasury yield falls after ADP non-farm jobs data. SPX is still grinding higher. US 100 is grinding a little bit, could retrace a little bit. Nothing, not too exciting here across the board. So for me now, it is on the US yen to the downside. I'm hoping to see a little bit of a retrace to give me a better pricing to try and get into. The US CAD is doing well. The loonie is holding, so it's dropped. It's popped lower. It's coming back in a little bit. I want to see it sit around here and then break down. This will be a good trade. It'll be a good setup for the downside on the US CAD. We're looking at this one here on the dollar index. So we can take that one away. Relatively straightforward. I don't want to rush into this one. I'm very tempted to rush into that, but I think that you want to see, I think that we could see it come back up a little bit more before turning back down. Hey John, how you doing? economic news pointing to weaker dollar. So look at the ADP non-farm, right? And it's totally, I talked about this afternoon, totally missed the mark on that because it was 60, all right? It got revised from 62 down to 60. Expected 111K, ADP non-farm employment change, expected 111K. I was thinking that it will come out at 120, 120, 130, I was saying this afternoon. And what happened? It got released at a 37K. So very, very, very bad news. Um, very, very bad news on the non-farm employment, ADP non-farm employment change, and hence leading to that drag down. So this was at 815. The drag down at 815. This was the push to the downside on the US dollar index, and then a continuation lower again. So yes, economic news pointing to a weaker dollar. The ADP non-farm as the economic news pointing to a weaker dollar. Robbie, I thought you were on. So Robbie just asked, how do you get the Bollinger Band dot indicator? You get it as an Elite Navigator. You get it for free as an Elite Navigator. And I'm pretty sure I gave it to you already, Robbie. Let me just double check. Okay, Robbie, can you drop me a message on Discord? Or if you don't mind, put your message, put your TradingView username on. Just give me your username, your TradingView username, whether it's in the chat here or on Discord. Drop me a message. I'll get it across to you. I was pretty sure I sent it over. Yeah, send me your username on TradingView and I'll get it across. Yeah. Okay, good. I've probably forgot your username on this, but yeah, I'm very sure I got it across. And you are one of the special ones who have it on the MT4, MT5, MT4 version as well. You have the whole file on MT4. Don't share that around. Do not share that around. Okay. CAD is pushing back up a little bit. Dollar, because the dollar is pulling back in, the yen is still sitting there, not doing too much yet. Sitting right across. Okay. Hey Diana, how you doing? You missed the show. You missed the whole show. Hope you're well. Yeah, guys, everyone on the session, drop a message, say hi, let me know that you're on. We're just waiting for some of this to play out. Kiwi dollar just went up to that resistance. I'm not going to go through too much of this. We talked about this in at 3 o'clock this afternoon, so you guys can catch the replay on that. It is very nice, Robbie. It is very nice. You finally activated it. We missed the Euro Yen trade. I hope at least someone has got into this. It has the dot. It does have the dot. The dot makes it even more obvious. It just shouts out at you, goes like, Robbie, don't get into the trade. It is outside of the band. So the dot is there just as a big warning bell. I should make it a bell shape instead, just to really warn you guys. Um, I'm keen on the yen. I think it's going to come back in a little bit more. I want to see it come back in. Um, US CAD is kind of doing what we've expected or what we've been looking for. All right, so this is the 10 o'clock hour. This is 10 to 10:15. 10:15 to 10:30 is sitting in a bit of a dodgy. I think it might come back in a little bit, and then after that hopefully push right down. So I'm kind of keen on that. You didn't miss a 200 pip trade. You didn't. Don't worry. I totally conked out right after our session. I think you guys probably could tell I was totally out of it this afternoon. I missed. Robbie missed out on this as well. Euro yen doing very well. It's too late now. It's too late now. Um, but our euro yen trade from this afternoon is now at 40 pips to the downside. Not quite not quite at 200, but the 40 pips to the downside. US yen as well, right? But I like this one. It's done exactly as we had planned, right? Push right up, test that 164.20 level, and then come right back down again. So, hey, I've been missing a couple. I mean, I've been traveling so much, so I've been missing trades as well. So don't beat yourself up about it. It happens. Um, CAD sitting there. So it's a new 15-minute candle. CAD is sitting there. It's going to pull back in a little bit, like we said, and then hopefully we see that push right down again. The dollar index is sitting there. Just looking at the euro yen just makes me sad. Kiwi is pushing up. Aussie. Anyone interested in the Aussie dollar? Aussie dollar, if it breaks that high, we might see a push that way. So 6505, 15 to 30 to the upside. Waiting for the yen since Monday. Robbie, you have been selling the yen down. I think it was yesterday or Monday. So you haven't been waiting since Monday. You've been trading it since Monday. I've been waiting for the pound dollar since Monday, and it might, with good grace, it might play out. If it breaks out from this area, break above that resistance to the upside, it might be worth the wait for a good 100 pips, quick 100 pips up. Maybe the non-farm payrolls will give me that. John said the downward move was somewhat anticipated. Below 99, as you mentioned, was watching the break. That one, yeah, was watching the break. It was so fast. Was watching the break. It went so fast. I didn't really catch. No, firstly you wouldn't trade. You wouldn't trade the dollar index, right? You wouldn't trade the dollar index, and for all this pop and drop kind of moves, I mean, it's not too late. It's not too late, John. Hey, again, disclaimer applies. We're going to jump in a trade. Make sure you watch your trade size, your margin, your leverage. You do your own analysis. I can't be responsible for your trades. But it's not too late. The dollar index did drop. It looks like it's paused, but it looks like it's going to push down. The US CAD seems like it's getting there again. It has a chance to get there again. So that's what we're looking at on the US CAD. Breaking below 1.3675 on the 15-minute, on the 5, on the 1, think is good. I want to see at least a 15-minute candle close below this point before I would consider that trade. Okay, so John, not too late yet. Haven't missed everything, don't worry. Robbie says pound dollar. Let's wait it out together. Hopefully the wait is not too long. Let me know if you're going to jump into it. Sometimes I'm not watching, you watch it. Drop it into the Discord group. I'll jump into that. You'll be warning me for it. So let me know. Diana on updates on gold, looking to buy from 33.50. Looking to buy from 33.50. I don't think it's going to come back down to 33.50. I thought you would have got in at 33.50. I actually thought Diana. I was looking at that. I thought, I think Diana would have got in around 33.45. That's actually a thought that I had. Pushing up right now. Yes, this afternoon we're saying 33.75 to 34.30. It's getting to 33.75. The only thing is slightly outside. Dollar is pushing down, so that's going to drag or pull this up. So not unreasonable to continue considering that 33.75 to push up towards 34.30, but maybe the first target will be about 33.70. So a quick small move up needs to break that point. So a small trade up needs to break that point, and then the bigger move to the upside. It feels like today, not everyone's not at the comp, which is okay. There's always tomorrow, right? There's always tomorrow. Tomorrow we do have not a lot of things in the afternoon, so we'll talk about setups in the afternoon with the Elite Navigators at 3 p.m. And then we do have at 8:15 the ECB with their rates decision. We're going to go live at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. GMT plus 8. So make sure you're there. Subscribe so they get notification. Turn on that notification bell. Because at 8 o'clock it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be a bit of a rush, right? Hopefully it's going to be a bit of an exciting rush because it is currently at 2.4%. It's expected to get down to 2.15%, a 25 basis point rate cut. So we're looking at that possibly happening tomorrow. So do look out for that. Okay, gold is pushing up. CAD is giving it a second chance, so you can look at that. I would like to scalp gold, but I can't scalp when I'm on the session with you guys. It's just a bit too much things for me to handle. It's too late. I can't get into the yen. Right, I would have liked it to so missed that one as well. I would have liked it to have done that, but it's not doing that. It's just going to keep pushing down. It's going to keep pushing down. 1.43 for 1.43. Oh, do we have? Yes, 1.4335. So we had at 1.4335 with a 40 pip stop and a 90 pip take profit. I think that's going to happen quite nicely. That's going to work out quite nicely, breaking that 50. Sometimes I feel like I should just put an order in and let it do whatever it does, because I'm missing these trades. The only thing I don't like putting orders in is because when I'm not watching it and I have an order in, I would go smaller. Then it kind of wastes the move, although I did catch it. I like this. It's 20 minutes to the close. Why everything is dropping is because dollar is still pushing down, or it's continued to push lower. I do think that there's a bit of a retrace, possibly some retrace here. Because again, it's a bit too late right now. That one's reasonable. Hey, if I miss everything, I know at least my old-time favorite Aussie dollar is going to give me some pips. Right, my old-time favorite Aussie dollar does have that 6505 potential, so that 30 pips would be good. Pound dollar, Robbie, pound dollar is going. Right, it needs to, but first, let's not get. It's not all about the hype and excitement. It needs to find that reaction at 1.36. Needs to break 1.36. We're looking for 1.3620. Maybe you can even go a little bit earlier, but then we're looking at that kind of move up. Best ultimate case, 1.3615 or 1.3610. You could be looking at that, 35, 40 pips to 100 up that way. Could refine it a little bit, but we're looking at a pound dollar. I think that I'm borderline late on the US CAD. US Swiss franc, you all know it's my favorite. Looks like it's gonna break lower. I missed the mark on this. I wouldn't want to sell yet at this point. Euro yen was a great trade that we missed. It's doing well. US yen, I think, is too late. Euro dollar is pushing up. More likely a tomorrow kind of thing. Pound dollar has that good potential, and Aussie dollar. So I'm kind of hinging today's trades possibly on the pound dollar and on the pound dollar and the Aussie dollar. And maybe if the US CAD would retrace a little bit, could see the US CAD. Gold shot right through. When I looked at it, it was just there, and now it's just blasted right through. This is why I can't scalp when I'm live streaming with you guys. I guess the next thought will be at that point. It will be 3392, 343 towards 3430. But that's played out quite nicely as well. Okay. Does it all make sense? You can help me out one last time. If you're on the session, drop a message. Let me know what you think. I'm kind of losing my voice, so I'm gonna. I think we did about an hour plus on a live stream already. So I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna get my scalping hat on. Gonna do some trades. Focus on the pound dollar, the Aussie dollar to the upside. See whether the CAD is going to retrace a little bit. In the meantime, trying to scalp the gold up before I completely lose my voice. I hope you enjoyed the session. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, join the mailing list, join the Elite Navigator. You won't regret it. You'll love it. And for Elite Navigators, I'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. for the live stream. For everyone else, I'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the ECB rates decision. I hope you enjoyed the session. I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow and then on Friday with the non-farm employment change as well. It's going to be a big surprise. Non-farm employment change is going to be exciting. I think it's going to be exciting on on Friday because of the AEP today, which was massively disappointing. JOLTS was reasonably positive. So it comes down to this Friday. The non-farm employment change is going to be a little bit of a unknown uncertainty. So we're going to see what happens there. So now with all that said, please trade well, trade safe. I'll see you all tomorrow at 3 p.m. If not, then I'll see you all tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thank you, Diana. Good to have you on the session. Thanks, Jamilu. Long time no see, but good to have you back. Welcome back. Robbie, let's watch the pound dollar. Let's watch gold. Let's watch all that. All right. Let me just try something. No, I was going to try that. Okay. So please take care. Bye bye now. See ya.